Hello everybody, welcome back to Ike and Me Gaming. Today we're still working on the Industrial Wonders DLC for Railway Empire 2. We are working on specifically the scenario called La Dame De Fer, or the Iron Lady in English. We are in episode 4. So here we are looking at a complex construction. Last time we did these first two, the Paquet Quarry, 45 loads of steel components. Now we have two more tasks, and one we've already auto finished, 130,000 citizens in the Yvelines region. So right now it is June 1st, 1883. By December 1886, we need to deliver 80 loads of rivets to Paris. So that should sort of take care of itself because we're making rivets here, 23 at 23, and we're going to need some in Paris, although they were probably getting some already. All of our zones are still redded out, so there's really nothing we can do in them. Kind of weird that they didn't open up another zone yet. There's not much else we can do really except to just keep our cities growing as best we can. Paris, for instance, is up at 171 and still growing. Okay, well, we have to kill a bit of time here. We're waiting for that task to finish. So we're going to put an express line from Man-la-Jolie down to Saint-Honorine. Going to do a line around the edge of the water, and we put several bridges in it as well. So let's go ahead with 4 trains. You know what? We'll go automatic. And there's our 2 wagons, and we don't need to move sawdust or meat because we're creating it in both. We're going to do the same thing from Versailles to Conflans-Saint-Honorine, and we did sort of a loop through the mountains, nice big long tunnel, and we're connecting to that bridge up there. Put 4 trains with our wagons, automatic, and we do have an industry slot available in Saint-Denis. I was kind of thinking an electronics factory because I wonder if I'm going to need that for a task, but I think it means we have paper. We're going to go and stick a publisher down so they can use the paper, and as soon as Montevray starts making chemicals, we can ship that into Saint Denis, and on we can go with our newspaper. And we're just looking at Conflans Saint-Honorine and see that we are capped for growth, so we're going to go down and put a university, and we already have this block, so we'll go ahead and put it there. Now we want to pump out as many rivets as quick as possible, so we're going to bump the rivet factory up to level 3. Versailles, now it's going to make 6 instead of 3. Almost didn't see that Mo has an industry slot available as well, and they're making steel, so I think we'll do the electronics factory here. Yes, we're gonna have to bring wire from far away, but I think this still makes sense to do it, so there we go. And we have some more research. We're going to take the PLM Coupe Vent, which will give us faster express trains. We're going to go right into that and see how much it would cost to upgrade. Let's see, express all 1.1 million. I think that'd be worth doing, right? Because it's quite a bit faster, like 15 kilometers an hour faster, and all the other stats are better too, like it's more popular and whatnot. Back in again, there we go, express sold, and that should help make even more money. And it means we're looking at Mo. I see they also are capped in growth, so we'll go ahead and put a university in here. We don't want to block anything. Maybe up here. There we go.
With the delivery of the rivets, the tower can now be reinforced with the final details. It's done. The last construction phase is behind us. I look up and can hardly believe what we have created. Now all that's missing is paint and lighting to finish off this monumental building. The World Expo is a complete success, and Paris has become the most popular city in Europe.
We go up to a complex construction. We had already did the last one, so now we did the 80 loads of rivet to Paris, and we did that the same year we started it. And then for optional tasks, we already did the 1 million citizens on our rail network. And I see one of our optional tasks requires toy factory, so we're going to have to take this asbestos insulation, which will decrease our maintenance requirements by 5%. And then hopefully the next 100 we get, we'll do this toy industry. All right, so now that we've finished a complex construction, it's opened up these other tasks here. So if we look at the Iron Lady, we'll see what we need to do there. So right now it's in-game October 29th, 1883. So by March 1888, almost 5 years from now, 4.5 years, we need to deliver 40 loads of electric components from the Essonne to Paris regions. And then by September 1888, we need to deliver 40 loads of paint from the region Oise to the Paris department. And then also we got these optional tasks that are down here. We need to produce a total of 16 loads of toys via factories and businesses, and that's why we started going after this in our research. And then by December 1889, we need to produce 6 loads of steel per week via factories and businesses. And actually right now we don't have any steel. It was a computer AI business that was doing the steel, and then we already accomplished this million here. All right, so we need to buy this Essonne region, so let's do that now. So if we look quickly, Savigny-sur-Orge is at 11,000, so it's going to be a while till that grows. Mennecy is at 22, it's a little bit closer to 40. Étampes is just under 22, so about the same size. Pithiviers is 13,000. Let's put the mountains on here. So these two are in the plains, these two are kind of up in the mountains. Okay, the wood's available, the grain's right there, potatoes are there, beans are down, which is a bummer, and we got milk right there. So really we have everything we need to load up Étampes, and I think Étampes the place we want to have our electric component factory, because Rambouillet, we already had our wire there. If we go into electric components, we need steel and we need wire. Steel, we need to put that somewhere, and we probably should put it in one of these cities as well. And then the second set of things is up doing paint up in Oisé. So I think we could do that next once we figure out Essonne. So we're going to start with the things that are close. We got our wood, which we did buy for a decent price. We're going to bring it in full to Étampes freight. And then we're going to bring in our milk with a refrigerated car to get the extra 25% increase in income into Étampes. So now we got to hook up our grain. We still have our potatoes left. And then we need to come down to the plains and bring up the beans. And here's our grain coming in the Étampes freight. Now we have our potatoes coming in the Étampes freight. Then we're going to bring in our full load of beans, Étampes freight. And now we put a station for freight in Savigny-sur-Orge. We're going to bring the meat to Étampes, and then it'll bring back the bread. Okay, so we put a Pithiviers freight station, and we're going to bring in the milk because it's making cheese. And we're going to put a train down there. And we did add the refrigeration car just to get the extra income. And so once we do that, we're going to go ahead next and bring a Pithiviers freight train up to Étampes. So now Étampes should have everything it needs here in just a few minutes for it to grow. And so what we should do next is probably Mennecy is the next one, because it's already at 22 and it could easily be our steel location, because we need to make, how many steel did it say? 6 per week via our factories. So now we're going to bring in our grain to Mennecy, and now we're bringing in our wood into Mennecy. We may need to bump that up to 2 trains, but it's coming in every 6.2 days, so we may be okay. Now we're bringing in our beans in the Mennecy. Now we're going to bring in our potatoes in Mennecy. Now we have a train bringing in the meat from Savigny-sur-Orge freight, and eventually it'll bring back the wooden planks and the sawdust. And now we're going to bring in Étampes bread into Mennecy, and eventually, like I said, for the last city, they'll bring back the wooden planks and the sawdust back. So there we go. There's the milk coming in. And if we just take a quick look, everything's loading up. The bread will take a bit maybe. We still need cloth, so that's the one thing we're missing. We got our milk. That should be coming here in a bit. Actually, we could do a Pithiviers freight, the Mennecy freight, and that way it'll bring in the cheese when it's ready. So now we're going to move on to Pithiviers freight. We're going to bring in our grain, full load of that. Now we're going to bring in our potatoes, the Pithiviers freight. So some of this was coming in, but what I find is once cities start growing, these things that were automatically coming in aren't coming in anymore. So you may as well just lay down the train if you got the money right away. So now we have our wood coming in, the Pithiviers freight. Now we're going to bring in our beans, the Pithiviers freight. So we're going to put a line from Savigny-sur-Orge freight to Pithiviers freight, and this time we are going to put a refrigerated car because the meat and the cheese both are refrigerated goods. Now we got Savigny-sur-Orge is bringing in grain. Now we're bringing beans in the Savigny-sur-Orge freight. Now we have our wood coming in the Savigny-sur-Orge, and now we're going to bring in a full load of potatoes, and then we're going to bring in milk to Savigny-sur-Orge. They're not going to need it quite yet, but it'll be ready to roll when they do. And because of all the other trains we put between the cities, we really should be fine. The only thing that all of these cities are missing now is cloth. Now we're going to bring some cloth from Versailles over the Savigny-sur-Orge with one train at first. And what we're going to do is go in here and we're going to create a warehouse, which we haven't used in this scenario yet. We'll put cloth in there, and that way when the trains come to get their meat, they'll also take cloth at the same time. And I see we have some research available. We're going to take the toy industry. So now we'll be able to work on this task right here. We could do 16 loads of toys somewhere. I see Colomiers has an industry slot open. I think we'll put the toy factory down here. And so it's going to require planks, which we will have coming from Mo. And it's going to need paint. So we're going to have to start making paint somewhere. At Rambouillet, we're going to put steel in because we have the coal right here and the iron right here close by. And we're going to put 2 coal trains coming in the Rambouillet freight. Now we're going to bring in 2 iron trains in the Rambouillet freight. There we go. We just upgraded our steel factory. So we got our optional task of the 6 loads of steel per week. We could do this a long way, but let's go ahead and take a bond. And that way we can speed things up. We'll upgrade this coal factory. In fact, let's go twice because we're going to use it to make steel. So now that we have Essonne doing okay, we need to come to Oise here. We'll buy it. And let's just take a quick look. Clermont's at 20,000 making meat. Compiègne is 15. Making cheese. Beauvais is 15 making bread. Meru is at 23 making clothing. So Clermont and Meru are perfect candidates for making paint. And paint also needs chemicals. Montevray is making chemicals, but it doesn't have a ton of them. So we may almost have to make chemicals up here again. Because if we just go the paint here, we need oil, which we did buy one oil business. We could maybe buy this one here. In fact, let's do that right now. So we have that. Plus we have another one in another area of the map. So if we do that, we're gonna need chemicals. We got lots of slag being produced from our 2 steel factories, so we're good that way. We just got to bring it in. So I would say a chemical plant in one of these 2 in Meru or Clermont is where it would make the most sense because we can get those. In fact, the chemical factory could technically be anywhere. It doesn't have to be right there, but we need it probably close. And then we can do the paint in either Clermont or Meru. Now I'm gonna try something a little bit different. I'm just thinking on the fly here. I think we'll go ahead and put a chemical factory down in Versailles and we'll bump that up just a little bit here. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it wants slag and it wants sulfur. Sulfur is being made in Rambouillet and now they're going to be making slag as soon as they start pumping out steel. So I could see this as a nice thing. See, they're getting lots of iron and lots of coal now. So it's just a matter of running up a train to Versailles and we can start loading them up and start pumping out chemicals.